let's talk about talking donkeys.
Now I'm a flying talking donkey.
Well, maybe not flying talking donkeys, but let's talk about donkeys, because this is a passage of scripture that a lot of people get really mixed up about. So let's talk about why people find this passage confusing. Essentially, we see the nation of Israel is starting to come into Canaan, and they're starting to take over the land. And there's this Moabite king who sees how powerful and how strong Israel is. So he decides, I need to bring someone who's going to put a curse on Israel so that I can actually stand a chance against Israel. And this is where we pick up the story. Looking at Numbers 22, starting in verse 4. So Balak, the son of Zippor, who was king of Moab at the time, sent messengers to Balaam, the son of Beor, at Pethor, which is near the river in the land of the people of Ma, to call him, saying, Behold, a people has come out of Egypt. They cover the face of the earth. They are dwelling opposite me. Come now, curse this people for me, since they are too mighty for me. Perhaps I shall be able to defeat them and drive them from the land, for I know that he whom you bless is blessed, and he whom you curse is cursed. So Balaam is called by this king to come and curse Israel. And his response, when Balaam sends this envoy of people, is to say, I won't go with you, because God's telling me that these people are blessed and that I shouldn't curse them. Now again, then Balaam is asked by Balak, by sending another envoy of more important people, will you curse this people for me?
Please go.
And this is where it starts to get confusing, because what it seems like Balaam does there is he prays once again, God gives him permission to go, but as he's going, God sends an angel in his anger against Balaam for going to stop him from going further.
I don't understand.
Balaam, riding the donkey, is bidding his donkey to go further, and the donkey sees the angel and refuses to go further, and Balaam beats the donkey until God gives the donkey the ability to talk.
Hello, talking donkey, how are you doing today?
And the donkey then says to Balaam, why do you keep on beating me? I'm keeping you alive from this angel in front of you. And at that point, God reveals the angel to even Balaam to see and realize what's going on.
That'll do, donkey. That'll do.
Balaam then says, God, if you don't want me to go, I won't go.
I won't do it again.
And he goes with the permission of God after that. He goes with the permission of God that he can only say what God tells him to say. And when he again and again, 3 times, goes and tries to say the curse that Balak wants him to say against the people of Israel, instead Balaam gives a blessing instead of a curse. Eventually we see at the end of the chapter that it says that Balaam returned to his land. Then Balaam rose and went back to his place, and Balak went his way. Now what's confusing about this passage is not only does it seem like Balaam is honoring the Lord, but it seems like God is changing his mind and getting mad at Balaam for following what God has commanded.
Sometimes the gods bless you in the morning and curse you in the afternoon.
Now, I think it's more nuanced than that, and I'll explain. But furthermore, not only do we see that Balaam seems to not curse the people of Israel, but bless the people of Israel, Balaam is still killed with all of the Moabites along with Baruch and the rest of his kingdom. And it seems like if Balaam is being a good prophet, as he seems to be by blessing rather than cursing Israel, wouldn't he be spared? If Balaam is being a good prophet, as it seems like he is because he doesn't curse Israel but blesses Israel, why is he killed with the rest of the Moabites?
I didn't say anything. That's not fair.
So let's look at the passage a little bit more clearly. Starting in verse 20 of chapter 22, we say that it says, And God came to Balaam at night and said to him, If the men have come to call you, rise and go with them, but only do what I tell you to. So Balaam rose in the morning and saddled his donkey and went with the princes of Moab. Now, in this translation, it seems to imply that, hey, if they have come for this reason, go with them. But when we actually look at the Hebrew, we see that they have come, or if they come, seems to be under question. This is why the KJV and the NKJV actually say, if they come to you, then go with them. what's interesting, though, is what we see that Balaam does is he doesn't wait for them to come, but he just goes. There's some extent that it seems like Balaam is wanting to go because Balak is offering him money.
So he says, how would you like to be rich?
He wants to curse Israel. This is the desire that he has. Yet he is saying, I will only say what God tells me to. But he's hoping he can get this money. If it wasn't that he wanted the money, when they came the second time, he would have known the answer. He wouldn't have asked once again, God, could I go? Could I go and curse Israel? Please. This would allow me to get all of this money and this stuff that Balak is offering me. But he goes right when he just has the little bit of permission of if they come. And he says, okay, I'm going. But they haven't come again. This then explains the next verse that says, but God's anger was kindled because he went, and the angel of the Lord took his stand in the way. And this is where we have the whole extent of this talking donkey. Okay, so that explains why God sent an angel and a talking donkey to stop Balaam. But why was Balaam killed in the end? He still said blessings, not curses upon Israel. Why is he killed with the rest of the Moabites? Because in the end, Balaam still did what he could to fulfill Balak's wishes. He knew that if the people of Israel turned against God, that they would be cursed in some form or fashion by God. And we get that in Numbers 31, starting in verse 15. On Balaam's advice, these women caused Israel to act treacherously against the Lord in the incident of Peor. Now, if we back up, right after the passage in which we have all of this dialogue back and forth of Balaam trying to curse Israel, but in the end giving it blessing, we have this whole passage where Israel experiences this huge plague because they were actually having children. They were having sexual relations with the Moabites, who were not a good people. And so because of this, God brought a plague upon them. What we see in 31 is that in the end, the reason that that was happening is because Balaam had given advice to Balak to use the women of his people to tempt Israel into sin. So in the end, Balaam, greedy for money, thinks, maybe I can't curse Israel, but maybe I can fulfill the wishes of Balak by actually getting Israel to do something that they shouldn't, and God turning against them because of that. And then I can get the reward that Balak is offering me.
I thought that was clever.
He's not a good prophet. He's a prophet for profit. He's looking to get money for what the things are that he's supposed to do as a prophet of God, instead of just doing as God commands. He does in some sense still do what God's commands, but only just enough, and then still does what he can to turn against the very people that he knows God has called him to bless and not curse. If you found this helpful at all and you want to hear other different questions or Bible predicaments explained, let me know. I'm doing all sorts of different videos on this channel, and whatever is kind of grabbing people's attention is what I'm going to start focusing my time and efforts on. If you have other ideas of videos you think I should do, let me know in the comments. Thanks.